Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers and sisters. Welcome to the League of Europe PC League, round number 6 here at Paul Ricard. I am King Kodiak. I'll be one of your commentators throughout this evening's race. Joining me in the box, I'm always happy to say, is the world's most beautiful badger. It is, of course, Badgerman.
Yeah, I'm very excited here, Kodiak. France, a track that in real life not always brings up the greatest of races, but I can tell you on the virtual equivalent, the Circuit Paul Ricard is quite a fun one to drive and to race on. We've got a couple of straights where the drivers can battle. We've got long winding corners where multiple lines are possible, and the drivers know how to use the most of them.
That they do. Right, qualifying is underway, so without further ado, let us get to the trackside, shall we? King Kodiak, for God's sake, sort your windows out. You're supposed to be a professional. Right, let's get this underway. So how many have we got? We have 18 with us for the qualifying session, yet to see a time on the board. So let us see what is going on and where most people out there doing something. We have D. Parry with us, as you can see, in the Alfa Romeo. Merckx in the McLaren. Velo returns to us. We didn't see him last time out, and he'll regret that because he has now got quite a championship lead deficit to deal with. Sniper is on track. Dan Field, V8 Field, who will be he's had a big old promotion in other broadcasting worlds. Glad to see he's currently in the pit lane, yet to see the track. LTU is with us. He wasn't with us last week, if memory serves, was he?
That was not.
No. The faculties haven't failed me yet. Black Panther is with us. We have Ollie, who I believe also wasn't with us last time out.
He was.
Oh, he was. I beg your pardon. So you see, the faculties have failed me entirely.
He got fourth place.
Oh, they really have failed me then. There he is in the Mercedes. F1 Mason. Is that a new name? That's a new name, isn't it?
No, it's not. He actually started the first 2 races. Did not get into the points at Bahrain, and then at the US Grand Prix round 2, he did not see the checkered flag.
So I'm really doing well at remembering who's been where. RJW.
It's been 3 races.
Cookie has retired. Our championship leader has retired. What has happened there? I don't know.
Looks like he retired into the pit lane.
He's in the pit lane.
He just drove. Yeah, he drove out for 1 run.
Wow.
Went back into the pit lane to retire. That is surprising.
Oh my.
I'm going to check very quickly if there's anything I missed in terms of Stewart's reports that maybe he has a qualifying penalty, but I would not suspect such.
Wow. Well, that is a turn up for the books. Cookie parking it. We're nowhere near halfway through qualifying. Sparky is first on the board with a time. Currently 12th in the championship with 17 points. And there we go. Immediately beaten by LTU in the Williams. I was going through the order. Kanga Khan is back with us. EEQW. That is certainly not a name I recognise. Is that one you're familiar with, Mr. Badger?
He has been there for 3 of the 5 races so far this season, including last week at Singapore. But he's retired
EQW? Really?
I think he was under a different name.
I was going to say, yeah. Surely that's a renamed person.
Yes, it is a renamed person. Let me
Right.
actually check who that is, because he's in the standings. He is listed as EQW as well.
Okay. Because on the championship standings I've got, I don't have anybody of that name. Anyway, we'll get that one cleared up. Casu is with us. Britt Evans. We haven't seen Britt Evans on track for a bit. Good to see him back with us. So 18 drivers out there, as mentioned. Velo is second in the championship. We definitely didn't see him last time out, as we previously mentioned, at the streets of Singapore. What a bonkers race that was last time out. Currently at the top of the tree with the 29.319. Pretty much everybody going with the soft tyres straight away, except for Casu, curiously, who's in the Aston Martin, gone out on the medium tyres, and Bryn is thinking about them, certainly. He's invalidated his lap, so he's not going to do any more here. What about Dan Field? What's he doing in the AlphaTauri? Let's follow him through. Why not? 12 minutes of the session to go. So coming through turns 4, 5, and 6 to the end of Sector 1. A 22.209 for the first sector for Dan. That's lighting up partly purple at least. So a good start for the AlphaTauri. Screaming down the straight from turn 7 down towards turn 8. And of course, the Formula 1 circuit uses this squiggle in the middle. Paul Ricard has a lot of different layers, as you can quite clearly see, along with the quite epilepsy-inducing runoff areas. Something we've talked about before. Through 8 and 9 without too much fuss, down towards turn 10. Sweep through that, foot nailed to the floor. Not even a lift in there. The yellow flags are to be ignored because everyone is slowing up. Now, this never-ending right-hander at turn 11. A few different ways you can take that one. Now into the final twisty section, down through the gearbox, into turn 12, and then follow the right-hander through 13. And we may see a few banzais into this particular corner, turn 14, and then work it out by the time you get to the last right-hander, turn 15. Watch the pit lane entry on your right-hand side. Where does Dan Field appear? It is now the start-finish line is quite some way down the road, and there it is, a 30.5, which sees him in 9th position.
Yeah, meanwhile, I was checking on EEQW, and he was actually there for the very first race at Bahrain and scored a point there under the name EEQW. So, last week he was not there. So I don't know if that's just a mistake on the part of whoever created these standings.
Okay.
He's supposed to have raced in Britain as well. I'm going to check that quickly. It's certainly interesting. I could say that. But yeah, we're gonna have to do some research on the fly here, and because I'm quite surprised as well, because last week there was no EEQW. The Ferraris were driven by REL Assassin and The Scream. There was no EEQW, so it was maybe it was one of those two drivers. No, it was EEQW last week 2 weeks ago as well in Silverstone. Got a 13th place there. So I think this is just a mistake on the part of whoever created these standings.
Excellent.
But still, 1 point for EEQW earlier on in the season in the very first race.
Sven returns to us in the Aston Martin. He's gone out on the mediums as well. Let's see how Bryn's doing on the medium tyres in the Red Bull. Where is he? That's turn 11. So he's coming towards the end of the lap now. He's got a Ferrari a few corners down the road. Is that going to bother him? Not from there, I shouldn't imagine. Well, Cookie's doing a last to first challenge. I mean, if he wins this, then dear Lord, we need another tier in the PC side of things to put Cookie in alone. It's unbelievable if he manages that. Down towards the line then for Bryn Evans. Bearing in mind he's on those harder tyres. What does he manage to do? That's a pretty respectable 130.7. Oh, wow. As he nearly clouts the Mercedes coming out of the pits. That'll be Ollie, who's up into second with a 29.497 on the soft shod Merc. Now the Mercedes and Red Bull having an argument. We've seen that once or twice in the past. Black Panther's got a he's invalidated another one, so he must have invalidated his first lap. You can see on the tower he's done a lap on those tyres, and he's done it again. So he's not having a good start. Now Kasu is out there. A few other people trying them, thinking about the mediums as well. Fair enough. Or are they? Hang on a minute. Yeah, that's the tyre they're on, and that's the tyre they've done the best on. So Merck set his time at 29.8 on the medium tyres, and Dan has retired.
Also in the pit lane, it seems.
Curious.
Maybe he thinks he can't do any better than that, which I find quite surprising, considering that track evolution is a thing. So the track should get quicker by, I would say, about 0.2 of a second, maybe even 0.3 of a second compared to now. So yeah, I'm pretty sure he could have improved, but maybe he is hoping for a P11 ultimately. Maybe he thinks he's already too far up the field right now, because he wants that alternate strategy. He wants to start on the harder tyre,
yeah, maybe,
and then go on to the softs later on.
Kasu is purple sector 1, or did appear to on my map. Someone has stopped on the exit of turn 7. Sniper or Lucky Finger, I think. Nope. No, he's got going again. Never mind. Purple sector 2 for Kasu.
Yeah, that means nothing. Means nothing on the first lap.
Oh, let me have my fun.
I'm sorry, but
I know,
I think it's important for the viewers
You're
to know.
absolutely right. You are indeed correct. It
On the
doesn't.
first lap, generally speaking, the purple sectors on the map generally don't mean much. There's been times where drivers have set a lap before and it showed purple. Oh, that's a tricky penultimate corner there. Tricky turn 14 there. Way too much curb that he took there. That really unsettled the car. So I don't think that's going to be that good of a lap. Is it going to be enough? I think P3 maybe. Oh, P2. Wow. Right in between Velo and Ollie. I thought that was not going to be possible. Could have been provisional pole position without that penultimate corner, I think.
Absolutely. I mean, that puts credit. Maybe they were actually purple sectors 1 and 2, but he just threw it away in that final turn. That did get very scruffy in that final sector, so there's possible pace out there in the Aston Martin, and still time for him to exploit it. 6 and a bit minutes to go. What are your thoughts about Paul Ricard, Mr. Badger?
Checking the purple sectors, and it was in fact a purple sector 1 for Cassie, but not a purple sector 2. He lost the 10th there to Velo. But yeah, he did lose it in the final sector ultimately. My thoughts on Paul Ricard. I said earlier, I think it's a good track on the virtual version. Real version can do with some improvements, I guess. But
no argument there.
It's certainly one that throws up a good battle or two. Even in the real version and in the virtual one here at LOE, it should make for a good race because you just have a couple of corners that you can really battle through and have side-by-side action for multiple corners in a row, which we don't see all too often on this game, but every now and again we are blessed with that. And this game, more so than most others, not any other, but most others, can certainly provide that. I'm just looking very, very menacingly at turn 11, 10, 11, and 12.
Yeah.
That is a part of the track where you can easily run side by side. The turn 11 is just so interesting to me from a track design standpoint because you have a corner that just it tightens on exit, and you have multiple lines that you can take through. The only thing you have to do is hit the apex on the exit. The second part of that corner, the tighter part of that corner, that's where you want to hit the apex and be on the inside. But on the first part, it actually doesn't really matter if you take a narrow line, you take a wider line. It really does not matter one iota.
A few people thinking about the mediums here, as we see Kangoo.com come over the exit of Sector 2. Now that, of course, did flash up purple, but let's not get too excited about that, as Badger explained. It's not necessarily a purple Sector 2. Although the medium tyres probably aren't too disadvantaged in Sector 2 as it's mainly straight through turn 12.
Sectors 1 and 3 is where they really are disadvantaged, especially Sector 3, where you have these fast sweeping corners and grip is king. You really can't afford to run the medium tyre. And I'm very surprised to see Velo on the medium tyre right now, because quite frankly, I don't think a Sparky's in the wall on the exit of the chicane, on the exit of turn 9.
Now I can see where his dot is. Now we can't jump to his car, unfortunately. Who's the Aston?
I was on board with Ollie there. He's on the right side wall there. Don't know how he ended up there quite exactly.
There he is.
It's a wall that's very hard to reach. Yeah.
I'm assuming because there were a few cars around him at the time. Did he bounce off of someone?
Could possibly be. I didn't see what exactly happened. I just see him in the wall there, so could possibly be. Otherwise, very tricky to end up in that wall. As I'm looking at Sven right now. He's on for another lap right now on those soft tires. But yeah, what I wanted to say is good luck, Velo, on trying to improve that lap time on the mediums. I don't think that's going to happen at 129.3. I don't think we'll see anyone in the 120. He switches back to soft. So he's clearly... As I say that.
Yeah, he's clearly listening.
Yeah, he is definitely listening. Meanwhile, Sven across the line in just about 2 seconds. Line comes very late. Here it is, 29.8. That's a decent lap time. He's within a tenth of the 2 cars ahead of LTU and Merckx. Certainly one that should give him a decent qualifying position there. Meanwhile, Ollie coming through the first sector slightly down on his own time, but only by about 0.03 of a second through the middle sector. Lots of straight here and a good chicane. It's so crucial. This chicane is one of the most important parts of the circuit, both in the race but also in qualifying, because you just carry so much speed on the exit that you need to have. Because here, turn 10, flat out, you don't even blink in qualifying. Even in the race, you might not. Only if it's raining do you actually lift off there slightly. Then turn 11, this is, you know, where you need to carry as much speed as possible through. But again, multiple lines, as long as you hit the apex on the exit of the corner, it's fine. Turn 12, 13 is flat out, 14 the left-hander. You really throw it in there. It's very abrupt change of direction there. Then 15 feels way too slow. It disrupts any kind of rhythm that you can build up over the course of a lap, and it is what a lap by Ollie, 29-2. He does beat Velo, but Velo has track evolution going for him.
Yeah.
And he's on an outlap with a fresh set of softs. Kasu, remember, he made that mistake in turn 14. He has a chance as well. We got 3 competitors at the very least that can challenge for pole position here. One is already on it. That's Ollie. But Velo, Kasu, and potentially LTU and Merckx, I wouldn't put it past them to spring a surprise or two right here.
Yeah, completely. And most of those competitors are on a hot lap now. RJW up to 7th as well with a 1:30.0. So apologies for the coughing. As LTU's invalidated his lap going through turn 4 and 5. Oh, that's going to be frustrating. He can do no higher than 29.7, which currently sees him in 3rd position. Cassius is just come onto the back straight, so out of turn 7 for him. Now, Ollie, as we just saw, is in pole. One of the Mercs has stopped. That's got to be Mason.
Yep.
Oh, he spun. That's fine. Never mind. Yep. He's had a spin. There is Cassie. Coming to the end of Sector 2. What can he do here? Let's have a look at the time on the top right-hand corner. That is... Well, that's can't be right, because he's down a 10th, yet I come up as purple. We'll ignore the purple bit as the checker flag is out. So, Sven can do no more. RJW, EEQW, a lot of W's in that sentence. And D. Perry.
Kasu invalid.
Oh, by the merest margin as well. Just coming through turn 11. That's a shame. Velo then, what can he do? Coming through that same point. Ollie's retired. He was back in the pits when he did so. Already on pole with a 29.2. The only competitor so far to do so. Into 12. Kasu has retired. Yeah, that's got to be so frustrating because he was right there, ready to improve, but sadly was not to be. Can Velo?
Velo, final corner. Looks really good so far. Is it going to be enough, though? Run to the line. A little bit of a twitch there, but it shouldn't cost him too much. He was early on the throttle. That might actually balance it out, and it does by half a second on his own time and 4/10 on Ollie there, 28.8. Meanwhile, Merckx is going to improve by half a second at least as well after 2 sectors. But he aborts his lap
wow.
and goes into the pit lane. That is quite surprising.
Bryn jumps
Maybe
up
he's made a mistake.
Yeah, good well done. Bryn has jumped up to 4th with a 29.46, but what a stormer from Merckx. My word. That's an absolutely brilliant lap. A very big statement of intent there from Merckx. So there is...
Velo.
Velo, not Merckx. Beg your pardon, yes. I was paying attention, I promise you. So it's Velo, beg your pardon. So it's a fin on the front.
Now we see why Merckx aborted. He likes those medium tires and he wants to start on them. He's happy with P6 as long as he gets the tires.
Good
And
point.
that is, I think, a pretty clever choice. He probably could have actually improved enough to, at the very least, get a front row start, if not pole position, on the soft. But he says, hey, you know what? I got those mediums. I like those mediums. P6 is good enough. And it's a smart call, I think, for Merckx here, as he will start in P6, but on the medium tires. So, Velo, Ollie, Kasu, Bryn, LTU, and Merckx, the top 6.
Goodness me. I did have a message pop up. That's nothing I need to worry about right now. Jolly good. Okay. Now, what's the weather doing? Now, judging by people's qualifying choices, I suspect it's going to be dry. As a reminder, we don't know what it's going to be like weather-wise, and that looks pretty dry to me. So nothing to worry about for our competitors in that respect.
Yeah, and another thing the medium tire choice there for Merckx gave away, it probably won't be raining within the first 5 to 10 laps of this race.
Mm-hmm. I should imagine so. Okay. So in this phase, people will be making sure their race setups are loaded on. Yeah, people have made that mistake before. And we will.
Well, importantly, obviously it is parc fermé between qualifying and the race, but you can still make changes too. The front wing, the brake bias, the differential, as well as the tire pressures. And some of those will get adjusted, some of those won't. Brake bias usually gets adjusted over the course of a lap anyway by some of the drivers. They switch that through a couple of times each lap based on the corner that's coming up. Differential off throttle is the important part here, because that one you can't fix or change in the car. The on throttle differential, that one you can switch in the car in steps of 5% from 50 to 100. And the higher you put it, the more the rears are locked to each other, can only spin at the same time. And is something that I really needed to put to good use earlier today when I was doing a little bit of driving myself. It can really catch you out. If you lock them, you get a bit more grip, bit more stability on the rear. And with the full fuel tank, that's something you would want. Because obviously with about, in this case, about 55 kilograms of fuel in the car reacts quite differently than it does in a qualifying run. So drivers have to be a bit more careful here. Especially in the early laps, and there are quite a few spots around the circuit where you can easily just spin out and end up facing the wrong way. I'm thinking turn 2 exit, probably one where the driver's going to see it for the first time, as Velo just took out one of the yellow.
Thought he did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, it's a smart thing, because you want to do that during the outlap, because otherwise someone else will have to do it, and if you're the leader, yeah, you're going to be the most likely one who has to do it. So it's a smart thing to take those things out during the formation lap, because in the race, at full race pace, they slow you down. If you hit them, they slow you down by about 2 or 3 kilometers per hour. It's not much, but it's definitely something that can cost you a position.
Now, Merckx, interestingly, got disqualified on the formation lap. That means he's hit someone, but he did that right at the beginning. So clearly, Bryn, who would have been directly ahead of him, didn't move as quickly as he would like, or Merckx absolutely span his tyres and just bounced off of someone. We don't know, we didn't see, but oh dear. So we've got Cookie starting at the back of the field, and Merckx on freezing cold medium tyres in the middle of the field. This is going to be interesting.
I'm going to go on board with Merckx here for the first lap. I just want to see what's happening there. If you can even hold it pointing the right way. Maybe with Lucky Finger, who's starting right behind him. But, yeah, this is going to be interesting for sure. Velo, Ollie, Casu, they all seem pretty much on the pace there in qualifying.
Let's see how France is going to go. We know this procedure. It is time to wind them up and let them go. Who is going to have the greatest start? Belter from Velo up front. Ollie is staying with him. Whoa, that's Cookie, I think, that's jumped out from behind one of the Mercedes down into turn 1, and Ollie was shoved off the road by Casu. Oh, that's Merckx. Oh my goodness me. Whatever strategy he was trying is not worth 3 wide, coming down into turn 3 from 2nd, 3rd and 4th as Casu, Bryn Evans and Ollie. My goodness me, so Merckx has spun. There he is. He's now got a lot of time to recover, but Velo is not wasting any time here. He's starting to give himself a bit of breathing space. You can see, look at Cookie. He's up 7 places already.
Make it 8. Make it 8.
Yeah.
He's going for the move on Danfield already. That is absolutely right. Look at the pace on this man. I mean, now he's on the inside there. Oh, actually gives a bit of space to Dan there.
Well played. Well played indeed. He's still having an argument with Danfield. And there we go. Just we jump on board with the Haas. He flies past the AlphaTauri. That's the wrong one. There we go. That's the one I was aiming for. As they sweep through turn 10. My word, that got very, very close. But Velo nearly has broken DRS range to Casu, who's fending off Bryn Evans on the inside line. Sparky and Danfield having an argument. So Dan's falling a little bit downwards, it seems. Side by side, coming through 13 for the Aston Martin and the Red Bull. Casu is really having to work hard to keep Bryn Evans behind. Bryn's having a great run here. Like I say, Bryn hasn't been with us every round, but Bryn in the Red Bull is up into second. Velo is over a second ahead. There is Ollie trying to make a move. LTU has a great ringside seat for the battle ahead of him. Absolutely great stuff.
I tell you, Velo's probably looking in the rearview mirror right now thinking, I love seeing that. Because he knows if these two are battling, that allows him to just drive away and drive off into the French sunset right here. That's exactly what Velo's doing. 1.3 seconds already, the gap, which means Bryn on the next lap would have no DRS off the car ahead. He needs to try and get back within a second of Velo up ahead. But Bryn Evans, he seems to have the pace to do it potentially. Gap was 1.3, now down to 1.2 already. Here comes Ollie on Kasu. They're going side by side. Ollie gets shoved to the inside. That is a penalty that might actually get reviewed by the stewards and potentially taken away because Ollie had nowhere to go on the inside. Kasu just turned in on him. So where's he supposed to go? That 3-second time penalty there might be subject to review after the race by the stewards and might be removed if Ollie sends that one in, because that was a straight up 3-second. That's not one where you say, oh, well, he still has to stay warning free. No, that was a straight up 3-second for corner cutting, and he might get that removed.
Fair point, well made, Herr Badgerman. As that gap now up from 1.5 seconds, Velo is beginning to stretch his legs up from where is our championship leader. There he is in 10th position. He's now inside the top 10. He hasn't got DRS, or won't have DRS to the McLaren ahead. It's Kango Khan who nearly bounces off of Lucky Finger as they scream down towards turn 1. As can the McLaren sweep around the Williams? Yeah, Lucky Finger backed out of that one. Decided that discretion was the better part of valor. Fair play. Well done, sir. RJW is actually catching the back of this particular pack up front. In fairness, that's not just the top 4 anymore. LTU is not far off the back of it, as we saw earlier. But Sven is right on LTU's case, and RJW right with him as well. So that pack is 2nd to 7th at the moment. There it is on that shot. The leader, Velo, was actually behind the tower. That's why you couldn't quite see him. Fighting going on further down as we see F1 Mason just go a little bit too wide. There's Merckx and Black Panther having an argument.
Ollie!
Ollie, no! What's happened to him? He's just... He's decent.
I think he must have spun.
Did he spun? Well, I thought I saw him ghosted just then. But yeah, he's plummeted down the field. Oh, no, what a shame.
Yeah, he was dropping position after position after position, and I think usually that's the sort of side of a spin there, and especially with the corner, turn 7, 8, 9, sort of checks out. So I think that's what may have happened there.
Bryn's in trouble.
Bryn as well.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely had a spin. That is at turn... was in the midst of turn 13. So I wonder if he's had an impact with someone, and in he comes. Oh, speeding in the pit lane as well. Oh, that's a shame. Now, I'm assuming there's going to be front wing work going on the Red Bull then, because that's very early.
Tires.
Just tyres? Oh, he doesn't like the soft...
No, he retires.
Oh, okay.
Bryn Evans has retired in the pit lane there.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Beg your pardon.
Sorry, I don't speak clearly enough, apparently.
That was probably just Discord just having a bit of a moment as we see more issues there. Oh, that's... well, I mean, the front wing wasn't changed by the pit crew, so Bryn obviously getting a little frustrated there. We do have a couple of people starting on the hard tyres, I've noticed. Black Panther and EEQW have both started on the white-walled hard tyres. A curious choice, certainly. Oh, Sven on the back of LTU. Now, LTU up into 3rd position with penalties here, there, and everywhere. 4 of them now on the board. Black Panther, EEQW, Mason, and now Ollie, who's fallen all the way down to 16th. What on earth is going on with him?
Might be that his tyres after the spin may have been a little bit too heated, a little bit too hot, and he needed to cool them down. Thankfully, on this game, compared to last game, it's a bit easier to cool tyres down after a spin. But it's still not easy. It's just easier. And so that might have led... Oh, as he's going side by side with his teammate Mason here, gets the position up to P15, at least a little bit of regain going on here for Ollie. And we have a sniper around. That's turn 12. He has spun to the inside there to the left. And he's now down to 17th and last of those that are still in the race.
Sparky with the fastest lap. He's in 7th position as Ollie has come in. Now then, is that just tyres or is that front wing or is that a retirement? No, hard tyres for the Mercedes. No front wing change.
Your hard tires at this point you have to go for because the mediums won't make it to the end. The hards might.
Yeah.
Even that's a bit of a stretch, but they might be able to do it. But the medium certainly won't. So it has to be hard tires at this point if you're pitting this early.
I see, I see. What would be your ideal? What would your ideal strategy, sorry?
Oh, my ideal strategy, I would say, if you're on the soft, if you started on the soft, then I would say come in lap 8, lap 9 for hard tires. Probably, if you're inside the top 10, I'd say you start on the soft, you do 8 laps, you come in for hards and go to the end. If you have free tire choice, or let's say if you qualified on the mediums inside the top 10, that's a tricky one. Because I wouldn't try to qualify on the mediums, personally. But if you do, probably mediums until lap... Give it, like, 10 is probably where I'd go for. And then for the hards to the end. Just stay away from the softs at that point. If I was outside the top 10, I would start on the hards, just like Black Panther and EQW have. And then go about 18, 19 laps on those hards and then pit for softs at the end.
Mediums for RJW, as LTU adds his name to the penalty board, up in 3rd position. So, yeah, RJW doing a bit of a different strategy there. So, how long will the mediums last, generally?
14 laps, so I find it quite surprising that RJW decides to go for mediums. And you don't want to go for a 2-stop here either, because that loses you 22.5 seconds. That's just a bit too much to drive out over the rest of the race when all you get is like one set of extra tires and probably usually the mediums. Softs don't last long enough. Mediums are not fast enough. And yeah, it doesn't really make sense. You have to go for the one stop here. It's one of those typical, as most tracks are, clear cut one stop. You have no choice really here. Unless you have damage, in which case, well, yeah, you can do what Bryn Evans did and almost retire.
Park it,
already.
yeah. So Velo leads, Casu leads LTU. They're fairly spread apart, but I think the soft tyres have burned their best because Sparky is really closing in on Sven now. And there's LTU that's now come in. RGW pitted to mediums, as we know. Lucky Finger has come in. Now, where are they going? And Ollie, as we know, went onto the hard tyres. What are they going to go on as we keep an eye on this battle?
That's a double stack for Williams. Why would they do that?
I suspect they didn't mean to do that. They timed
Lucky
that.
Finger.
Have they oh, well, did they time that absolutely perfectly?
Almost. I think there was a little bit of a waiting period for Lucky Finger there. It wasn't much, but it was certainly there. Okay, let me just quickly check.
Oh, Sparky now on the back of Sven. So the Ferrari's really come alive. These medium tyres now starting to come good. He's going to mug the Aston Martin as he mugged Kangaskhan last time around on the way down to turn 8. That is job done. The McLaren's looking to do the same. Sven's lost 2 positions in one straight there. His soft tyres are absolutely mullered now. The medium starters are starting to come good as Dan now adds his name to the penalty field. Here
comes Cookie.
Yeah, here comes Cookie. Up into 5th from starting dead last. I wonder if that was what he was just setting himself to do. He was doing a last to first challenge. Did you? I'm assuming we didn't find a steward's warning.
No penalties for anyone. No steward's inquiries, even from what I've seen from Singapore. Which just goes to show how clean this field is. And it's the second time in a row that there was just no steward's report whatsoever because there were barely no inquiries. As Sven and Velo both go in the pit lane now. And Cookie is on the back of Kangaskhan and Sparky now battling over what will be P4 as of right now.
Apologies for the cameras keep changing, audience. I'm trying to get the right car. I was trying to find Cookie, which I did in the end. It took me about 3 changes to do. So yeah, hard tyres for Sven. Soft for Velo's. Velo's gone on softs again.
That's a 2-stop. That's a 2-stop and probably a misclick. There's just no way that he intended to go on to another set of softs. I don't understand it. I don't get it.
The only reason you do that is if you had rain imminent. But look at the sky. There's nothing there.
That might actually be a good shout. Just because there's nothing there in the skies right now, it doesn't mean that there won't be in about 10 minutes. I've seen quicker weather changes on this game before, so don't ever count it out. The weather can be quite tricky, although this is France. This isn't Silverstone. No offense there. Or Zandvoort. Those two can be quite... Or Singapore, actually. I mean, we were just there last week.
We were.
That can be quite tricky with the weather as well. But this isn't any of those tracks. This is France. Usually the weather is a bit more predictable around here than it is around some of the other circuits I just mentioned.
True enough. No argument there at all as we ride on board with championship leader Cookie. When Cassidy comes in, which he's carried on. I suspect Cassidy's running those tyres a bit long, I'd have thought. But
yeah.
Now,
it's the softer hard strategy for Cassidy, I think. Maybe he thinks he can make the mediums last 18 laps. Instead of the designated 14. But you see, if you look at turn 2 was a great shot there. Cassidy was sliding through turn 2 there. These tires are dead shot at this point.
Yeah.
He will have to pit very soon.
As Deep Harry has spun, Velo on those fresh soft tyres was side by side with the EQW coming through those last few turns, which is what made me squeak earlier on. The top 3 are going to become the top 4 as they're closing in very, very quickly on Casu. Now, the recent patch we had, there was a patch out this week. Has that made it
Monday?
There you go. As Ollie adds to his penalty count, has that made any substantial difference to tyre life?
Tire life, not at all, actually. Tire life is still the same, but it has made some changes to the to the compounds of tires being used around some of the circuits. For example, Austria, I think, is an interesting case, because around Austria it used to be the C4, C3, and C2. It has now changed to the C5, C4, and C3.
Okay, yeah.
For Austria, so one step, and look at the skies.
No, I was about to say that. The sun has got... That's what Casu's doing. He's stringing those softs out. We're going to have rain.
This is not... No, yeah, we're going to need rain. Yeah, Casu just pit. At this point, yeah, there's the overtake. Sparky goes to the lead. And I got to say, those that started on the mediums here, Sparky, Kangakon, Cookie, and Merck, and Dan
smiling.
Field as well. This is exactly how you do it. I mean, this is a remarkable strategy call there. Cass will suffer a puncture if he continues like this. He has to go for softs.
He was banking on the rain coming much quicker than it seems to be.
I think one thing that I might have to explain as well, and Cass may have known this and the others may not have. So the drivers get to see at the start of the race, as well as in qualified, Cookie and Kangakon both go for Casu. There's a bit of contact. Casu pushing Cookie through the corner a little bit, but no damage sustained, I think. But that's how quickly you lose 3 positions and then no longer running in the podium. Cookie on Kangakon as well, down the inside of turn 10, and that's a wonderful overtake there. Black Panther getting 5 seconds for corner cutting. What has he done? That's the chicane.
Yeah, he's got the chicane a little bit wrong, so that's probably going to be a steward's investigation post-event. Unless he actually got that wrong of his own accord, but he is with quite a few cars, so I imagine he's probably taken an avoiding action there.
Yeah, but what I was trying to say, in terms of the weather report that the drivers get to see, let me actually check something, because I'm not sure if they get the approximate or the perfect weather report. They get the approximate one, so it's not always perfectly accurate. It gives a little bit of uncertainty to it. But they are the first raindrops, by the way. There they are, but it's still not nearly enough time to go on to intermediates, obviously. That's the first couple of drops. That doesn't mean anything just yet. The transition period can last 2 laps. It can last 10. I've seen both happen. And yeah, I wish I was joking. It was that bad when I was doing a race around Spain that it took 12 laps from the start of the rain to actually intermediate conditions, and then
Ollie's gone inters
despite heavy rain.
Ollie has gone inters.
Yeah, no, too early.
Way too early.
He's going to suffer. The tire's going to overheat as well. They won't make it to the end of the race. It's just not a good choice yet. What I was trying to say, so the drivers get to see the weather report at the start, and they see 7 different icons of weather, ranging from a sun to a sun with clouds to just clouds to clouds with 3 raindrops.
Cassie's spun badly miles off the road at turn 10. It is actually raining pretty hard.
He's got a puncture, is what it is. Casu's got a puncture. Or does he? Hold up. Or is this just my...
No, this is rain. It is chucking it down. That's just rain. Look at the way that well, he can't control that car.
No, I'm pretty sure the
front left.
Whenever he goes,
it disappears. Yeah, it does on my screen as well. But it's raining hard enough.
It's a puncture.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people are coming in now for Inter's top 4, top 5 now.
Yeah,
in.
it's time. It's time.
Yeah.
See, this is why I told you it can last 2 laps, it can last 10. Oh, Caster goes again and spins into EQW.
Oh no!
EQW's got damage from that, I think. I'm pretty sure. As he heads into the pit lane, slows down just in time, but I think there might be a front wing change for the Ferrari car, as everyone will have to storm in for some intermediate tires. My goodness, it really started quickly.
Yeah.
To chuck it down here. Wow. But what I was trying to say, I still haven't got my point across. What I was trying to say, so they get to see 7 different weather icons. Either a sun with clouds, or a cloud with 3 raindrops, or a cloud with 5 raindrops. That is clear, cloudy, overcast, light rain, or full wet, heavy rain sort of conditions. And the 7 icons don't mean the first one is the start of the race, the last one is the end of the race. They are a bit weird. The 4th one is not the middle of the race. It's 0, so start of the race, 5, 10, 15 minutes, and then it goes 30, 45, and 60 minutes. Usually, you can disregard that last icon. That doesn't mean anything, because this race does not last 60 minutes. It's over in less than that, usually about 45 to 50.
Yeah.
Even if it's a full wet race, it's about 50 to 55. And so you can disregard that. But it's difficult for drivers to read that properly, because a lot of drivers, it doesn't show that it's 0, 5, 10, 15. It just shows the 7 icons. And so a lot of drivers think, oh yeah, that's the start of the race, that's the end of the race, that's the middle. It doesn't work that way. And so that's how these miscalculations can happen. And I think this is what may have contributed to Cassius staying out on those softs for that long, that he, I think, got a puncture.
It would seem like it, yeah. When he was ghosting on my screen, that front left did disappear. So, I think you're right. That was the main contributor. Just the rain happened to fall very hard, very quickly, which he's back on the road again. He's down in 12th. Oh, no, spun again! Oh, Casu has slammed into the wall. He's out. That is a spin down towards turn 11. We actually saw that one live. Casu is gone. His day has... that's a shame. His race started well, but just disintegrated pretty damn badly. Ollie, who was pitted that lap too early, he's in 11th now, and he's catching to the back of RJW and Black Panther, so we'll see how his progress goes. And EQW is not far down the road either, but Sparky leads by 5.3 seconds over Merckx, so that gap is slowly coming down. But Cookie, from starting last, is in 3rd. Yes, he has a penalty, but at the moment it won't make a difference. It's a 3-second penalty, but he's 6 seconds ahead of former race leader Velo.
Yeah, I'm checking the standings. The top 5 have all been on the podium so far this season at one stage or another. Sparky got a 3rd place at Silverstone, race number 4. Merckx got a 2nd place at Spain, race number 3, his only points so far this season. Cookie, of course, won 4 of the first 5 races. The only one he didn't win was Silverstone. Velo had 2 2nd places and a 3rd place. The 2nd place at USA and Silverstone, and 3rd place at Bahrain. And Kangakon had a 2nd place last week at Singapore. So all 5 know what it's like to be on the podium, but none of them would be the first one of the season. Very interesting here. First one would be Dan Field, whose best result was last week as well, with a P9 and therefore 4 points. His first 4 points of the season. And my goodness, what a jump he would make in the championship if he finishes in P6.
Yeah, LTU is determined to do something about that. LTU's 9th in the championship. And look how early Dan went to that defensive line, but that Williams is just going to sail past him.
And now the top 6 have all been on the podium because LTU got a 2nd place at the season opener, Bahrain.
Ooh! My goodness me, Ollie, he got really, really squiggly coming out of turn 10. He managed to make the move on RJW, but he just couldn't get the traction when he needed it and lost that 11th place back to the AlphaTauri ahead of him. Wow, it is absolutely chucking it down. Now, we're not seeing standing water, so I don't think anyone's thinking about full wet. But that looks really, really heavy. It could go full wet, couldn't it?
It could. There's a lot of rain coming down, but once again, I've made the experience through my extensive game testing and just enjoying the game as well. Just because they're standing water might not necessarily mean that full wets are the better tire. Sometimes they're still not.
Fair enough.
Intermediates on this game are very, very powerful in any kind of rainy conditions. And I think the reason for that is because basically what Codemasters have done is they've developed the intermediates after the medium tire and the full wet after the hard tire.
Okay.
So the mediums, the intermediates generally provide a bit more grip just naturally. And therefore, the even when it's in a sort of crossover period and it's some standing water out on track, the intermediates still perform better.
Ollie is really working hard to try and come past RJW, and he's got a good ringside seat for Black Panther's argument with the EKW. Sven's gone! Sven is out! What's happened to him? Same place! That's another car that's bitten the dust. Both Aston Martins have died in the same place.
Yeah, VSC, and I think we can call turn 10, is it? Yeah, 10. The Aston Martin graveyard at this point.
The Aston Magnet. It's not Aston Martin anymore. That corner is now the Aston Magnet. So that puts D. Parry up into 15th position now. So Sparky had actually built up the lead to about 7 seconds before that happened. There's another penalty on the board, as Cookie is now right with Merckx and not willing to give him any quarter. And behind them,
They got to be careful with the Delta, and there it is, exactly what I was talking about. They got to be careful with the Delta, and Merckx was actually the one who wasn't careful enough, as well as EQW. They both got a drive-through penalty. If you restart the race too quickly, too early,
Black Panther's out.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry to cut you off there. There he is. You can see the wrecked Red Bull on the exit of turn 7.
Yeah, lost it through 6, and I think just spun to the right there. That's what it sounds like, or looks like, rather. And, tricky corner that as well, especially in the rain. This track gets about 10 times more difficult in the rain. There's some tracks, I'd say Austria, that is, fairly simple still in the rain. But France, with its long sweeping corners, and, the requirement for downforce to be just so important, and grip, in the rain, when the grip lessens significantly, it just gets about 10 times more difficult. And if you've never done it, if you're watching right now and you've never raced France in the wet, just do a 5-lap race on it. Just go into Grand Prix mode if you have the game. Go into Grand Prix mode, do a 5-lap race on it as soon as this race here is over, and experience it for yourself. Trust me, you will spin.
We're seeing full wets come out. F1 Mason, D. Parry, and KangoCon. Now Dan Field has gone on to the full wet. Is EEQW doing the same? Not sure at the moment. But Sparky, is that lead now down to 4 seconds? You can guess you can see who's behind him on the tower. Cookie, no one but himself can stop him, it seems. Not even the weather. Whoa, look at the tail of his car, just misbehaving, something awful. He's still deploying ERS as well, which I think is brilliant in these conditions. No DRS, obviously, in these conditions will be fairly pointless. The last thing you want to do is lose downforce when it's wet.
The full wets are better. The full wets are better at this point. I'm looking at Dan Field and the gap to Lucky Finger.
Cookie spun. And he returned to track as well. I think that one may be investigated because he went off the track, slammed into the wall. You can see he's lost his front wing, but he returned to track. I'm not sure that's allowed. So, and we've lost the EQW. We've lost the EQW. That is up at turn 7. Another car has fallen by the wayside, and Cookie has unsurprisingly gone into the pits along with Sparky. Velo's coming
Everyone.
in as well. Yeah, Merckx.
Everyone. Danfield might have pulled a good one here because he went a lap early, but he lost some time to Lucky Finger here as well on the exit of the chicane. So, oh, no, actually, oh, full safety car. That's why. That's why we have a full safety car. And that saves the ones at the front a little bit here. Gives them a simpler, an easier pit stop here where they don't have to push as much. And I think the safety car might partially be caused by EQW, might partially be caused because it's raining that heavily. It's not the first time that we've seen a safety car. And there's Sniper.
Oh, dear.
Even under safety car, there's still a delta until you've caught up to the safety car. So someone needs to tell Sniper that. Lucky Finger, meanwhile, stayed out on the Inters.
Oh, he did, yes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's he's banking on the weather, kind of. Well, it's drying up is not the phrase, but it just lessening the rain earlier than others, I would think. But Sparky leads the Velo back up into second now. He's got, of course, going to cast a safety car. Can't do it too quickly. See, this is my brain automatically thought with the safety car. Hang on, there's a Renault on the circuit. No. We haven't had a Renault on the circuit this game. There's a good reason why we haven't had a Renault on the circuit this game. Never mind. Brain, catch up. I'm blaming lack of food because I didn't get a chance to eat my food before the race.
Yeah, however, we do have an Aston Martin on the circuit still, despite the two that we've lost earlier.
Departed.
Let's hope this one doesn't spin here. That would be really, really unfortunate if the safety car spins here, but that shouldn't happen. But yeah, safety car in the game, that's also part of the patch that we've received from Codemasters on Monday, and we finally get to see that beauty in action. I gotta say, I love that car.
It's a gorgeous car, isn't it?
I like that safety car a lot more than the red Mercedes.
Well, no argument from me. It's an Aston. It's British, of course. I'm going to say that. But,
see, I'm German, and I like the British car more than the German car.
It is a good-looking car. There's no argument about that. But this is going against Sparky, really, because he had built up a pretty decent lead before the rain decided to kick in. Let's jump on board with him. Yeah, you can see that weather is horrid. Now, our off-board shot doesn't really do it justice until the cars come a bit closer to the camera. Because for a minute I thought, oh, that doesn't look too bad. Then you jump on board with everybody and you realise, yeah, it is. That is horrible. I mean, do we get a situation in this game where the safety car actually outruns the F1 cars? That has happened in real life.
It has happened in real life. It won't happen here. No. However, the safety car is significantly faster in the wet compared. Like it's much harder to close up, and it might very well happen that the likes of D-Parry might not actually end up behind the safety car queue in time when the safety car comes back in. So, yeah, it's certainly tricky. D-Parry is now heading through turn 10, or towards turn 10, now through it, and we might see about 3 or 4 more cars just not making it to the end of the line.
Yeah, really curious on Lucky Finger's choice there. And we just saw the Williams swap round there. I suspect it's because LTU inadvertently let his teammate through, so they were swapping back into their correct positions. But very curious decision. No,
not necessarily. What could have happened is that Lucky Finger maybe had an issue where he went off track, or went too slowly. At which point, cars behind him are allowed to overtake him to catch back up to the safety car. So you can still overtake to the under safety car, but only if a car makes a severe mistake, runs off track, or is too slow. Which, with those inters in these conditions, might very well be the case.
Yeah, fair point, well made. Is the lights on the safety car are still on, so no indication that the green Aston is coming in this time.
Yeah, it's gonna stay out one more lap longer. We're gonna see the lights go out, if they do, before turn 10, halfway through on the middle between turns 9 and 10, as Sniper has spun on the exit of turn 9.
Those inters are the wrong tyres to be on, I think is the conclusion from that. And I do believe you called that, Mr. Badger, some 2 and a bit laps ago.
I called what?
The fact that the inters were the wrong tyres.
Oh yeah, absolutely. At this point, I'm surprised that Sniper, who has pitted a lap ago, by the way. What might happen right now is that. Remember how I talked about the 7 icons of weather that the drivers see before the race? Maybe the 6th or the 7th icon showed light rain again, or even full dry. And so what Sniper owns and Lucky Finger are banking on is that this safety car period is just too long. Oh, Sniper almost loses it. Is just too long to the point where the rain gets lighter again. It does look like it right now, but it might very well happen later on. And the Inters obviously at some point are better again than the full wets. And at that point, Sniper and Lucky Finger would have a massive advantage.
True enough. We will see if their gamble pays off.
Oh, Lucky Finger runs into the back of LTU. The teammates collide. And that's a 5-second. Yep.
Yeah. And that won't really be reversible. That was his own fault. That was on a straight as well. So that was a bit clumsy. But there we go. So here we go. So this is the point where Badger was explaining where the safety car, if it's going to turn its lights off, it's going to be on this straight, was what I was saying.
Yeah,
so,
it's going to be in 3, 2, 1. No, not yet. It was supposed to.
Oh, there it is. Oh, you were close. You did say on the run to turn 10. In fairness, that is what you said. So.
I did. I'm a bit surprised that it took a little bit longer than expected. Usually, it's right on the second.
Sniper's spun again.
Same spot as well.
Yeah.
Exit turn 9.
Maybe he's trying to clear water. Maybe he's trying to clear the water away.
Sideways.
Yeah.
That's a bit harsh. But anyway, Sparky is now the leading car. He is the safety car effectively, as the actual safety car just tries to. Lucky Finger, what have you done?
He bounced off of. I don't think it was LTU.
Oh, no,
was it LTU? No,
yeah, because LTU. Oh, and Lucky Finger spins again.
Oh dear.
Oh.
Yep, there he is.
And there's Sniper going past him.
They don't listen to you, do they? Just because you're a Badger.
Hold up, is the safety car coming back in, or is this?
Oh, the safety car's in.
Back out. I mean, sorry, is the safety car coming back out, or what is this? Because we still have the safety car in the top left, or is this
that's a fair
because
point.
it's ending? I'm not sure.
Oh, Lucky Finger's speeding in the pit lane as well. But Sparky's floored it.
We're under green.
Yeah, there we go. And Lucky Finger's retired it. I'm not surprised. He's had enough of those tyres. So just 12 cars remain. Sparky leads Velo, leads Cookie, leads KangaCon, leads Mercked. It's our top 5 as we now resume racing. 8 laps to go here at Paul Ricard. It is absolutely chucking it down. As you can see, Sniper is still on the Inter tyres. You utter crazy man. But we'll see. What do I know? That may well prove to be the winning strategy at the moment. Look at the top 3. Velo all over the back of Sparky. Now, of course, we're not going to see any DRS users. We've got yellows in Sector 1. That is... no, it's not LCU. I don't know who that is back there. Oh, no, that's Lucky Finger's Ghost that's causing trouble back there. So Sparky's had to go very deep. Now into turn 8. He's going to be compromised on the exit. Whoa, Velo!
Velo!
Good catch, sir. But Cookie, now up into second from starting last, could still snatch victory from those around him. We will see. There is the 2 McLarens, KangaCon and Mercked. The real ones did well in Monza. That was a little while ago, granted. We'll see if that fate can befall them this time around, as Sniper has lost another position, now down to the last running car. Unsurprising on those Inter tyres was Sparky. Sparky's having an absolute storming race. He was, leading by up to 8 seconds before the rain fell, and still holds on to the lead now. Great effort from the Ferrari.
Remarkable, and against the undisputed championship leader at this point, Cookie, 40 points clear of the next car after just 5 races. So he's gained an average of 8 points on everyone behind him, which means more than a race win over second place. That's 7 points. He's gained more than that on average every single race. So Cookie's he's dominating this season so far, but Sparky with a courageous effort. Absolutely remarkable. And I gotta say, the Velo incident where he was almost spinning, exited turn 9 through the chicane, I have to compare that piece of car control to what Jason Plato was doing at Brands Hatch Turn 1 years and years ago in I think it was the BTCC. That is absolutely so 95% of the time, at the very least, maybe 99% of the time. You do what Velo does there, you spin into the wall. Velo did not. He only lost one position. He's still going, and he's still somewhat in this battle. If he can close in on these two battling up ahead, Sparky and Cookie, then there's a good chance Velo might snatch some more points than just the 15 he would get right now.
You're too young
16,
to remember.
never mind.
You're too young to remember Jason Plato.
I'm not that young. I'm 28.
Oh, we want to have that conversation, do we? I'm 41,
Okay.
dear boy. You know. Oh,
fair enough.
you young children. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, who's? Oh,
If I had talked about John Cleland, it would be a different story. But
Very true.
Jason Plato, absolutely. He's been racing 5 years ago.
Oh, safety car again! Sniper,
wow.
Sniper has hit the wall at turn 7.
Yeah.
He's retired his car, and that's caused the safety car again. Oh, Sparky's breathing a sigh of relief because, dear word, was Cookie really piling the pressure on. And here we go again. Now the Williams has disappeared. Hopefully the safety car will not be out too long this time. Is that one of the merch spun? No, there's just tiptoeing around that final turn. Maybe the safety car won't be out too long this time.
Yeah, I'm thinking 2 laps. Lap 22 that we have right now, and lap 23 it will come in again. Usually the safety car doesn't just stay out for 1 lap ever. It does 2 laps, just generally speaking. Can do 3. I've never seen it do more than 3. But yeah, it certainly won't need that 3rd lap right now.
Yeah.
2 laps is going to be enough, and 4 laps of racing remain right at the end. And for Sparky, this is really good because he was able to recharge his battery that was severely depleted from the battle with Cookie.
Yeah, yeah.
And one thing that's hugely important here, of course, if you run the battery in the dry, you lose at maximum 50% of your battery charge a lap. That's if you use all your deployment throughout the lap, and then you recharge obviously whenever you brake, but you know you lose all of your deployment. In the rain, because you brake so much earlier and so much longer, you lose a lot less energy. Rather, you harvest a lot more is really what it comes down to. And by harvesting a lot more, you lose about, it's really that severe, you lose about 25% of your battery charge over the course of a lap. And, well, you can do the math. 100 divided by 25, it's about 4. We have 4 laps remaining, so he can defend full beans for the remaining 4 laps. As soon as the safety car comes in, he can defend with everything he's got.
With Cookie behind him, he'll need to defend with everything he's got as well. Yeah, everybody knows just how scarily fast he is. Now, also, the remaining cars, all 11 of them, are now actually in the fields. We look at D. Parry, there is the field. So we no longer have a spread of cars as we did in the last safety car period. So we've lost Sniper, we've lost Lucky Finger, EEQW, Black Panther, Sven, Casu, and Bryn Evans in this race. Oh, is that a disconnect? It looks like a disconnect for F1 Mason as well, as we're riding on board with D. Parry. And the X is on F1 Mason's name. Yeah, so, and he's gone. Just as I mentioned it, we potentially have certainly lost another driver. The car will continue to circulate.
Yeah, well, he might be able to rejoin. He has the ability to rejoin. Sniper, obviously, he has retired already, so he left the session. But Mason can rejoin and retake control of his car. That is open to him at this point, and let's hope he's able to, because otherwise he'd be throwing away at this stage 3 points. And that would be, let me just quickly check that I'm not saying anything wrong here. That would be, his first 3 points of the season. He doesn't want to lose those.
No, certainly not. Certainly not. So, as we're thinking, this will be the last lap under the safety car, or under this safety car, assuming, of course, we don't have another one.
Oh, yeah.
It is, of course, possible. Let us see everybody just working those tyres as best they can in these conditions behind the safety car. Now through turn 8 and 9. On board with Sparky. Now it was towards
Don't forget,
the end. Go on.
Yeah. don't forget that Cookie has a 3-second time penalty, so Sparky doesn't have to give it all.
Yeah, but if he does hold Cookie back, and there we go, the safety car is due in this lap, because if he does manage to hold Cookie back, that 3-second penalty with the field this condensed is going to be painful. Very painful for Cookie, but we will see. Again, I didn't actually see when that penalty appeared, I must be honest, but then there have been a lot of them. So it got kind of muddled up in all the messages. So we don't know whether that's a penalty that can be appealed or whether it's a track limits penalty. I wouldn't blame him if it was a track limits penalty, quite frankly, with the way this race has gone. Oh, it is. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, it is. I'm just checking right now. He got 3 warnings. One on lap 2. One on lap 9, and then the third one and the one that got the penalty on lap 11.
Okay. Does the field work their way through towards the final turn? Oh, look at that. Cookie trying to get alongside the Ferrari, and Sparky, understandably, hasn't dropped the hammer. Oh, impact between himself and Cookie. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised for that. That was a big.
Both got a 5-second. I gotta say, I put the blame on Cookie here. I have to put the blame fully on Cookie. And if I was Sparky, I would appeal that penalty after the race ASAP. I'd be in the steward's office. I wouldn't even be knocking at the door. I'd just walk in. Don't care what's going on in there. I just walk in and be like, I want this removed. I want this removed now. Because that, I think, was none of his fault. Cookie has no business being alongside there. It's still on the safety car. The car in front is the de facto safety car. You have no business overtaking there. And I don't understand what Cookie was doing there. Sparky was not driving unnecessarily slowly. Therefore, this was just a very, very silly move by Cookie. And if I'm Sparky, I'm furious right now. I'm absolutely fuming.
Well, we'll see what he does. I thought that was a bit... Yeah, kind of from the off-board camera that we were looking, it did look like it wasn't an intentional move to hit Cookie. Certainly not.
No.
I'm not suggesting it ever would be, but he did look a bit robust, shall we say. Sparky's given himself a 3-second penalty now, so that actually completely shakes the order up anyway. How many more? Can you double check Velo's warnings as well?
I can tell you Cookie's warnings because he got 2 extra since his penalty, so
no.
He's on thin ice. And Velo. Let me check to completely make sure. Velo kept his nose rather. There's one. Oh, there's 2. Never mind.
Okay.
He's on 2.
So 2 warnings to Velo if he could just keep it on the road. At the moment, as I said, if we look at the details, there were 8 seconds for both Sparky and Cookie apiece. Now, that is a 3-second track limit warning and that 5-second penalty we've just seen. So... both of them are going to just drop to the back of the field as the results currently stand. We will see, if the race ended now, Velo winning with KangaCon and Merckx, the McLaren pair both on the podium. They will be very, very pleased with that. But Sparky, again, he's building up a lead again. Now, is there damage on Cookie's car as a result of that impact? Don't know. Ollie is just... Oh, LTU's gone really deep. Going through turn 5 and sweeps back around Ollie. I wonder if Ollie let him back through because it did look like there was contact between the two, and the Mercedes has allowed LTU back into position. Very sporting of him, and LTU is now defending for all he's worth. Ollie's gone the inside line, heading down towards turn 8. Can he get it done? Nicely played, but the Williams is not having any of that. LTU holds on to 6th position. Well driven.
Yeah, the outside line there is just the stronger line. For the first part of the chicane, it turns to the inside for the second part as well, so you really get a double bonus there. You can carry more speed into the first part of the chicane, stay alongside, then get the inside for the second part and complete the move, or the defense in this case by LTU. So usually you think, oh, going defensive means covering off the inside. Oh, Ollie. Oh. This is one way to fight the car, and the car fights back, but ultimately the driver still wins this one. But at what cost is the question. But yeah, going around the outside, you would think going defensive means going to the inside, covering off the inside. Not in turns 8 and 9 right there. The opposite is true. You want an attacker to have the inside. You stay around the outside, stay patient, and LTU has really pulled that off to perfection there to keep the position.
That he has indeed. 2 laps to go. Sparky now 1.5 seconds ahead of Cookie. Velo in third with both McLarens right behind. Merck getting very, very close to his teammate coming into turn 3, 4 and 5. That remains where they are at the moment. Ollie is still very much with LTU. That battle we watched. There's the AlphaTauri pair. Danfield just ahead of RJW. Dan with the penalty. RJW with not. F1 Mason and D Parry have fallen off the back of this pack entirely, unfortunately. There's lovely battling going on absolutely everywhere as the rain continues to flood Paul Ricard. My goodness me, that's monsoon kind of conditions going on. And that, of course, that gap now shrunk a little bit as they've come through turns 8 and 9. And the Ferrari still has this one in hand. Cookie doing what he can to stay in the tyre tracks. Well, we should very much call it the wake of Sparky. Sparky not just clearing the air, but clearing the water, of course, of everybody ahead. And that's RJW, so that's the AlphaTauri. Oh, side by side through turn 10 in the wet. And Cookie, another penalty. You did say that he'd earned another 2. Oh no, that's pretty much sealed his fate, I think.
Yeah, not just his, Sparky's fate, and I would argue Cookie should not have the 5-second penalty removed because that incident was his fault. So he really is on a true 11 seconds right now. At least, maybe the stewards are gonna disagree with me here. Might very well be the case. I'm not one of the stewards. I want to make that very clear as well. But from my perspective, I gotta say, as someone who has raced for 15 years and somewhat professionally would be an overstatement, but semi-professionally in the past, I would put that solely on Cookie. You do not pull alongside at the end of a safety car period unless the car in front has already restarted the race, which Sparky at that point has not. He was not full on the throttle, and so that was just silly from Cookie, and I would argue completely his fault. But meanwhile, Sparky, he might be looking at the gap to Velo. That's 2.1 seconds right now. If he can pull that up to 3 seconds, the corner cut penalty might not matter too much. If he can get that 5-second removed, then he might be good. He's still somewhat on for a podium. Gap between Sparky and Merck is 2.9, now 3.0. That's how close it is. Now 3.2. Kangakon must have made a mistake. Must have lost time to Sparky, and now his gap is 2.9 to Sparky. This is incredibly close. Yeah, now it's 3 seconds. I can't believe it. Sparky is a rain master at this point. He might not be the fastest in dry conditions. He's got a podium in Silverstone, but Velo with a mistake now running wide there through 12. Wow. Sparky is just incredibly consistent in these conditions. It's truly fascinating to watch. He will come across the line as the winner on track, but of course the penalties will change that.
So winner on track at least is going to be Sparky. Cookie second, Velo third. That is going to completely shuffle around. Velo is going to take the win, and unserved penalty to make Cookie's day even worse. Velo will take the top spot. Kangakon second, Merck third. Sparky actually hangs on to fourth, irrespective of the penalty position being reviewed. He actually still has fourth. So we'll see how. Of course, this one has to go to the. Well, might go to the stewards. We don't know. It's up to the drivers. So RGW5, Ollie 6th, Cookie was down into 7th position with the penalty position as it currently is. That, as we said, may well change. We will see. Driver of the day, Sparky. I've got no argument with that, really. I mean, Cookie did a great job up until that last lap, really. It kind of undid. But Sparky, I've got no issue with handing Sparky the driver of the day at all.
Yeah, absolutely not. Well deserved. And I was looking at the gap as well. If the 5-second penalty were to be removed, Sparky would move up to second place, which would be his, just by 0.07 of a second, which would be his best result of the season. He got a third at Silverstone, but he didn't have a second yet or a win. So second place it would be for him. But of course, as things stand for now, it is fourth for Sparky, but certainly driver of the day for him, absolutely. Velo, meanwhile, nets the full 26, and that is for cert no matter what happens, because I don't think Sparky can appeal that 3-second time penalty. If he can, he would take the win, but I think that's rather unlikely. But Velo nets the full 26, and with Cookie down in 7th and only getting 6 points, the gap in the championship has shrunk from 41 points all the way down to 21 points. So Velo making it a lot more exciting. Kangaskhan jumping a bit up the order in the championship as well, with 2 second places in a row for now. Merck's got a 3rd place. His second ever finish this season, and his worst finish of the season. He had 4 races so far in these 6 races that we had. 4 times he participated. 2 DNFs, a 2nd place at Spain, and now a 3rd place here at France. So it seems like these Mediterranean countries suit him a lot more than English-speaking countries or the Bahrainian desert.
There's no way I can add to that.
Well, the question then would be, what's next week going to be? Because we don't get a Mediterranean country, we don't get an English-speaking country, and we don't get Bahrain. We don't get desert either. It's Russia. It's Sochi. What's going to happen there? That's a completely different track to everything. How is Merck going to do there?
That is a great question. We will have to wait until next week to answer. But my goodness me, yet again, what a race we've had. Several safety cars, a hell of a lot of rain, but a lot of racing action, and some interesting moves, shall we say, thrown in. What a way to end the night. And we hope you watching along have enjoyed this. Thank you very much for joining us either live or post-event. It is always a great pleasure to have you with us. Thank you very much, Badgerman, for your always invaluable advice and facts and statistics. And, of course, keeping me on the straight and narrow is always a difficult job, and you always weather it well.
It's not actually that difficult. I think you can do a lot of that on your own at this point. You're grown up at this point.
I don't know about that.
Says the young one to the experienced one.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
But always enjoyable here every single week. Fridays, I very much do look forward to. You're one of the reasons why. The drivers are one of the reasons why. The viewers are one of the reasons why. Generally, this League of Europe, just fantastic action every single time. And I can't wait for next week at Russia.
Couldn't put it better myself. As mentioned, next time out is the Sochi Autodrome. Join us, same time, same place next week for more of the same. Until then, thank you very much and good night.